Admiral Zephox of the Dominion fleet adjusted his ceremonial armor as the massive dreadnought Eternal Conquest dropped out of hyperspace above the third planet of the Sol system. The blue-green world hung before them like a jewel, completely unaware of what was about to unfold. He had performed this ritual exactly 4,847 times across the galaxy, and each time had proceeded identically. "Commence standard first contact protocol," Zephox commanded, his forearms folding behind his back with practiced authority. The bridge crew, a mixture of conquered species from across the galaxy, moved with efficient precision born from centuries of imperial expansion. The communications officer, a tentacled Cytherian, looked up from her console. "Sir, we're detecting approximately 8 billion inhabitants across the planet's surface. Primitive technology level, they've barely achieved faster than light travel. Several hundred vessels detected in orbit and throughout the system." Zephox nodded approvingly. "Perfect. Another simple conquest for the Emperor's glory." He straightened to his full 3-meter height, opened communications to all human vessels and planetary governments. The view screen flickered to life, displaying the Admiral's imposing figure to every human receiver capable of picking up the transmission. His voice boomed across space with the weight of absolute authority. "Attention, inhabitants of Sol 3. I am Admiral Zephox of the Galactic Dominion, conqueror of worlds, subjugator of species. Your planet has been selected for integration into our glorious empire." He paused for dramatic effect. Timing was crucial in these moments. "You will immediately cease all military activities, surrender your governing bodies, and prepare to offer tribute befitting your new status as vassals of the Dominion. Compliance will ensure your continued existence. Resistance will result in your elimination." The bridge fell silent as they waited for the inevitable response. Zephox had heard every variation: desperate pleas for mercy, angry defiance quickly followed by submission, attempts at negotiation, or occasionally immediate surrender from species wise enough to recognize their futility. What came back was nothing. "Sir," the communications officer reported after several minutes, "we're detecting massive energy signatures across the system." "Ah," Zephox smiled, revealing rows of sharpened teeth. "They're powering weapons. Foolish, but expected. Prepare to demonstrate our superiority. Target their largest military installation, and—" "Sir, those aren't weapons," the tactical officer interrupted, his scales flushing nervous yellow. "They're engines. Massive engines. The humans appear to be moving." Zephox frowned. "Moving? Moving where? There's nowhere to go. We've surrounded the system." The tactical display updated in real time, showing something unprecedented in the Admiral's vast experience. Every human vessel in the system, military, civilian, cargo, passenger, was accelerating away from them at maximum velocity. Not toward defensive positions, not into attack formations, but simply away. "Sir, we're also detecting similar energy signatures from the planet itself," the sensor operator reported, his voice tinged with confusion. "It appears they're evacuating the entire planet." On the main screen, the tactical display showed a sight that defied all of Zephox's military training. Hundreds of massive colony ships were lifting off from Earth's surface, while those already in space were scattering in every conceivable direction like startled birds. The pattern was chaotic, inefficient, and completely without precedent. "Admiral," came a transmission from one of the perimeter vessels. "Human ships are requesting safe passage through our blockade." They're just asking us to move aside." Zephox stared at the screen in growing bewilderment. In 4,000 years of conquest, across thousands of species and countless worlds, he had never encountered anything like this. Species fought often futilely, but they fought. They surrendered usually quickly, But they surrendered. They negotiated, they pleaded, they raged. They did not simply leave. "Sir, what are your orders?" the tactical officer asked. Zefox watched as Earth's population continued their exodus. The coordination was impressive. Actually, clearly, they had contingency plans for this exact scenario. Somehow, impossibly, an entire species had looked at the most powerful military force in the galaxy and decided that their best option was not to fight or surrender, but to pack up and find somewhere else to live. "Sir," the communications officer spoke up again, "we're receiving a transmission from one of the departing vessels." "Put it through." The screen displayed a middle-aged human woman sitting in what appeared to be the command center of a civilian transport. She looked tired, but not defeated, worried but not desperate. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the UES New Horizon," she said calmly. "We acknowledge receipt of your surrender demand. After careful consideration, humanity respectfully declines. We're leaving. Please don't follow us. There's plenty of room in the galaxy for everyone." The transmission ended. Zefox stood frozen for several seconds, his forearms hanging uselessly at his sides. Around him, the bridge crew representatives of species who had all eventually bent the knee to the Dominion watched the tactical display with something approaching awe. Admiral, his second-in-command, ventured carefully. "Your orders?" Zefox watched as the last of the human vessels disappeared into hyperspace, scattering across thousands of possible vectors. Earth hung before them, empty except for automated systems and a few massive signs reading GONEFISAHING in 17 different languages. For the first time in his military career, Admiral Zefox had absolutely no idea what to do next. "Send a message to command," he said finally. "Request instructions for unprecedented scenario. Species has refused both surrender and battle. Species has left." As the eternal conquest hung in space above the abandoned Earth, Zefox couldn't shake the feeling that humanity had just won something, though he couldn't quite determine what the game had been. Somewhere in the depths of space, 8 billion humans continued their journey to places unknown, carrying with them the galaxy's first successful implementation of the most human of all military strategies: run away and live to annoy someone else another day.